All right, welcome to another video from the chart reader. So I'm expanding this a little bit. It used to only be FAANG. We are now going to do FAANG and then a few blue chips. And then if you haven't noticed already, I added one new indicator. So we have volume, which is, again, very important if you saw my golden rules of trading. And then it gives you a 50 moving average of volume. So again, this line basically shows what the last 50 days have looked like, right? So that is important. Are you buying more than the last 50 days or no, right? It does matter. So what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see what's setting up. We have our 5 moving averages. We have these horizontal support and resistance lines. We have the MACD, the RSI, and volume. Okay, now, again, all this is only 20%. 80% of the work is up here. Just because we're adding another one doesn't really, the work is still up here. Okay, so look, what's happened? Really, once it broke this line, it just started filling the gap, but not as dramatically as ideal. I'll say this is a pretty good run right here for sure, but yeah, it would have been really nicer to just hit it in like a day or two. I'll be honest, maybe that's just a little greedy me right there, right? But this is beautiful trading, right? I mean, look, obviously starts with getting over the 8. You get a little bit of a doji, so I wouldn't necessarily say this is confirmation. Definitely love seeing the gap up, but again, not really confirmation. This is obviously legit, but now you're on the 20, right? This is a good candle afterwards. Again, does well. Little bit of a bounce, gets a little skip, it goes a little horizontal, and then a nice couple day follow through, right? So overall, once it cracked this line, which was the top of this, which was the highest point in the gap down, right? That's generally what you'll see. So that's pretty textbook right there. And really, I was tracking, I think, a Netflix one as well on this video, and Netflix didn't do it as quickly and dramatically as I would have loved to seen it, but it kind of did this as well, right? So and look, overall, the days it did well, it actually went over the average, right? So again, like I say, it is pretty important. Hey, sometimes it doesn't work out quite like that, right? But again, if you're trading under the 8, you already know not to touch it, right? So, but yeah, overall, where are we? Look, we cracked the 50 right here. Beautiful day on Friday. Monday's definitely setting up pretty well, right? RSI by no means is too low. MACD's actually in the positive, and it has a very nice green wants to go up and red's kind of staying down. They are going away from each other, right? They're diverging from each other. It's good. So yeah, overall, I'm happy. I would love volume to get over 40 million. Give me a little bit more on Monday. And look, I'm going to zoom out a bit. There's no reason to believe this won't come up to the 100 at this point, right? So I think 140 does seem realistic. Maybe there'll be a little bit of noise around here. I could see 130 maybe making a little bit of noise. Maybe after that, 135 give or take right there, you can kind of make some lines and you see it hit them a couple times. But yeah, overall at this point, once you break the 50, you should go to the 100, right? So meta does look good. And I was really I was really bearish on this thing. Look how long it was doing really bad, right? So getting over the 50 will be big. So we had a test here, hopefully a break right here. Cool. Let's look at the weekly real quick. I did that too quickly. Nice. Okay, hey, this is starting to shape up, and I'm liking this MACD RSI combo. I am, right? That's starting to go up. That's starting to go up. Looks like people are getting ready to buy. Looks like it's going at least the... I'm liking this. Overall, this is a nice weekly. Obviously, next week we want confirmation, but look, nothing but red, right? That's a gap fill. It's not as dramatic, but yeah, you go down, 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 down. Hopefully you didn't lose all your money during it, and then you hopefully fill, right? So meta does look really good, actually. Give it a look if you aren't already. AAPL. Let's come to Apple. Okay, interesting. Where are we? I hope you saw it before I even say it, right? 1 line, 2 lines, 3, all 5 are not that far away from each other. It's a little tight right there, but the red one is pretty much right on my 145 if I had to guess. We are 1, 2, 3 days over the 8. However, look at what happened here, right? I talked about this on a couple different videos now. So, if you're going to break 1, 2, 3 lines on a single day, I need monster confirmation the next day. That's a very... I've repeated that a number of times. I hope you have that in your back pocket now. This is not good. And then the day that it does all right, because it does, right? It still stays above all three. It's a good thing. It doesn't break, it doesn't get over the top of the main one, right? That bothers me generally. I'll say overall, I'm glad that Apple looks all right. I'm glad that Meta looked all right. I'm assuming Amazon, Netflix, and Google will as well. Honestly, I haven't looked all the way through yet. But yeah, I'm hoping Apple breaks up out of this cluster just because it seems like the market wants to do well. But look, anything can happen in a cluster of 5, right? It's not wildly tight. So hey, maybe you can break this, kind of go right here, and then kind of go for these two and make it more of like a 3 cluster and a 2 cluster versus a full 5. Nonetheless, I don't like trading in a cluster. You know that. I would rather wait for it to break and go up, or I'm just going to watch it go down from the sidelines and keep my money, right? So personally, I would not touch this. I'll go ahead and assume if the rest of the FAANG stocks are okay, this one will probably do okay too, and at least make its way up to these two. So not really liking either the MACD or the RSI, and really doesn't look like volume's anything special, right? It hasn't really had multiple days over the 50 in a minute. So again, just most of it was up here, though. When I see 5 lines and we're going super horizontal, I'm waiting to see what happens versus putting my money in, right? Again, it makes sense, right? It looked pretty deep on the daily, so it's obviously been a few weeks of horizontal trading. It's only 4 lines here, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5, but hey, nonetheless, right? A cluster is a cluster. So I would personally just wait, see what happens. Let me just do one thing real quick. Okay, so the 50 here is at 156. Is this guy at 150? No, it's okay. So look, I would actually wait to get in over at 157. That's probably going to be the safest entry for Apple. Again, look, I realize that there's a decent profit from here to 157, but you know I've talked about the safer side of trading, right? If you can kind of say that there is one, right? Nothing's guaranteed, nothing's safe, but the risk-reward balance, for me, I would wait for 157 and trade well above all these lines, right? And be smoother sailing. So to each their own, though. A bunch of different strategies that all work well. Ooh, okay, interesting here. This is not what I expected to see on Amazon, in all honesty. So I know a lot of people did not like their earnings, whatever, right? What's happening here? So we definitely had a hard tank, right? Easy to say that. You don't have to be a good chart reader to see that. Make a good run up to the 20, definitely fail it. It gets super tight right here. A real good break of 2 lines in one candle. What does that mean? I need good confirmation, and we definitely don't get it. Definitely don't even come close to it the day after. And if I'm looking at it, we're under both lines. We are under both lines. So that makes me a little more worried about Apple now. Because again, I was kind of making some assumptions that the rest were going to look like Meta, but Amazon does not look good. And I'll be honest, I remember, I haven't made this FAANG video in a while, I'll be honest, but Apple and Amazon, I did have them tied together in some of my chat stuff in like stock twits and other things like that. So I'm a little more worried about Apple, and in all honesty, I don't like this chart, right? I mean, hey, if it opens up on Monday, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and put a line. I am going to make a new, what is this one here? See, I'm going to make a line right here, and look at that. It actually lines up exactly with this one. That's funny. But yeah, I would have put the line right here. Because, yeah, we need to break that. Where are my little drawing guys? There it is. Sorry about that. I'm going to put a line right there. Up. Hate when I do that. There we go. Close enough. And again, you know, I'm okay with close enough, right? I get happy when it's perfect, but I promise you'll make a lot of money on close enough. Don't worry about that. But yeah, again, not looking good. And hey, you should already know, right? If the weekly is not good, your daily is not going to be good. And this is not a good chart. I mean, there's a little bit of a horizontal happening here. You got back-to-back dojis, right? So hey, maybe next week will be good. And again, it does look like more people are buying. I guess I'll take that as a positive. But yeah, this is the ugliest weekly of the 3, right? That's super easy to see, I hope, by watching these videos. So yeah, Amazon, I'm actually I'm not too happy with it. Netflix. See, okay, and I'm going to zoom out a bit because we've talked about this gap fill a little bit. Look how far back this thing goes. So look, once it crossed this line, right, and again, this is the monster line, right? This is the highest point on the gap down, right? Then we lose it, we lose it. We make an attempt at breaking the line, but we just don't. Couple attempts, and look, I've always said five's roughly that magic number, right? One, two, I mean, there's more than five. I'm not even going to pretend that there's five, but yeah, this thing, I mean, one peak at least, two peaks, three peaks, four peaks. I'm making up the five, I'm not going to lie, but five's kind of my number nonetheless. Once it breaks this line, which was the bottom of the gap, it just does a little more horizontal actually, but you can kind of see it with the 8 anyways. So there would have been a lot of easy ways to, you know, avoid it, for lack of words, right? But really a lot of it is good technicals. You break the line, you go back, you bounce, and then you go up. Shouldn't have really gone much lower. I don't really like that. But hey, nonetheless, this 8 really would have saved you from a lot of the up and down that this thing had. So yeah, where are we? We're about 3/4 of the way on the gap, right? This is a real nice 1, 2, 3, right? Big day, big day, big day. Again, if this opens up well on Monday, there's no reason to believe this isn't going to keep going up, right? Because at this point, there's very little resistance till this line, right? So not the biggest of spaces. This is 20 and that line's at 31, so I mean, it's not the biggest percent move, but hey, you know, it all started really here, right? Unfortunately, kind of like I said with Meta, right? It wasn't as like boom, 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 boom as ideal, right? And way more oscillated. I don't know if the word should be right, but it's very wavy. So, but this is good. This next 3 days is nice because look, again, couldn't break this line, couldn't really break this line, definitely broke this line well, right? So once you start getting over all the moving averages where this is, right, that's where you got to at least start using these lines a little bit more. Otherwise, you're kind of blind, right? And that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trading blind here. Again, look, you can see on a couple of the spikes, there were some good days where it was just going over, right? So again, the more volume you have, if you can break your average of volume, that's always a bullish thing. But yeah, Netflix looks good. Shouldn't be a surprise that the weekly chart looks good, right? And all we're really doing is riding up the 8 on the weekly. It's a great thing. Next week's big because if we can break next week, if we can get confirmation, we're coming up here. We're breaking 400. I mean, this is really the last resistance before 400, right? So yeah, Netflix looks good. Netflix looks good. Meta looks good. Apple and Amazon in the middle do not. What does GOOG look like? GOOG's looking all right. I'll say that much, right? Golden cross right here. Golden cross right here. Looked like we were going to get a death cross. A death cross is when, again, golden is when it goes above it. Death is when it goes below it, right? And it looked like it was, but no. Kept going up, right? I love it. So, again, we still see that get 2 days and bad confirmation follow through, but hey, I'll take being up with the 8. Hopefully Monday opens up well. I don't like the RSI necessarily, but again, it's still a little tight and there's still kind of an uptrend going, right? This is a little more dramatic down than I would have expected, but yeah, it's not too low. We're sitting positive on the MACD. I'm hoping Monday opens well and opens above 140, let's call it, right? So yeah, from there you would think it would go to 105 at the blue line. And then where's the 200 after that? Not too bad up. So look, if you're not in already, what's this line at? That's literally right at the 100, right? Safest place to be would be getting in at the 100 and then riding that thing up to the 200. That's for sure. And look, like I said, it literally lines up to right there. So interesting that I don't have that many lines down here. And you can see how long it's been since I've made this video, actually. Interesting. So, but yeah, it's really been moving with the 8 very nicely. One more time, right? Coming into the weekly, yeah, this is a good weekly, right? Definitely went lower than the 200, but it never technically lost it, right? We never got confirmation from there. It just got over the 8, and hey, coming up would be getting over the 20, and that'd be huge, right? Because from there, you're coming all your way up here to the 120s, right? So overall, GOOG does look, like I said, it looked like 105 was next, and then 114 seems a little more realistic now that we kind of think 120 might be a little realistic on the weekly, right? If not that 117. So yeah, overall, I liked 3 of the 5 FAANGs. I'll take that. Could be worse, right? Maybe they all start okay on Monday and then Apple does a little better. Amazon just did not look that good, but Yeah, not too shabby. So we're getting into the newer ones now. I'm going to have to draw some lines because honestly, oh wow, I can't believe I've not been looking at Boeing. That's really disappointing. This is a beautiful chart. And look how low the RSI is after a huge bounce. This is positive. Obviously, you can see it. You're trading over all the moving averages. That's a great thing. This thing's been under the 200 for so long. This thing wants to go to, oh man, I'm loving this. Okay, cool. We'll definitely draw some lines, but overall, this is a very nice chart. I do like it a lot. Because look, it made a really good run, started going horizontal, and I've always said it, once you go horizontal, it seemed like it might have come down here, but instead it just says, hey, I'm going to bounce off this 20. I love it. I really do. And hey, again, like I said, RSI is super low. We're definitely positive on the MACD. And look, people want to buy. Boeing is definitely a must watch out of all of these so far. This is the best one. I would even say this is probably better than Meta. I'm going to come to the weekly to make a couple of the lines. Oh man, look at that. Okay, so you know, I would have used the bottom of this. I guess I'll just use the top of this now. And yeah, we actually even broke that one too. I love it. Sweet. Because from here, it's a drop. And then from here, there's kind of a nice little up going, right? So I do like that. I'm going to put one on the top of that dude. We'll put one on the top of that dude. And then we'll put one. See, but I think these are a little too far. You know what? I'm not going to use this guy. I'm okay with this. Yeah, we'll hold on to these for now. I think that's pretty good. And look, I don't talk about pattern trading too much. This is a W that we've just made, right? And once you break the peak of the W, it's a really good thing. And I mean, it's not too far off since it's happened. So yeah, I mean, one more time. I am liking Boeing. Let's go to daily to just see if I have some good lines that aren't too far out. No, I'm going to want to take something from here for sure. You know, I will use, because again, we already broke the one that I took from the weekly, which was probably the top of this guy. Let's use, looks like there's a lot happening right there. We hit it right there, kind of hit it right there. Yeah, I'm okay with this line, and that's roughly 200. I'm good with that. Because there was also a gap right there. And then I'm going to make one more. I am on that right there. Okay. That's a little too close. I don't need that. No, we're going to delete that. Okay, I like this right here. We'll just leave this as this for now, and I know we have a couple more up there. Cool. I'm actually not going to make any down here. I'm going to get a little cocky, but let's just make one down here. Let's not do that. The game is not to get cocky. It's get confident and educate, right? So that's a good line right there. This looks good though, nonetheless. Liking this a lot. Oh, loving this, right? Golden cross right here. Looks like we want a golden cross. And we have a nice little, once we break the 50, a good little distance before the 100, right? So there's no urgent panic. But yeah, this has just been flying. Boeing did really, really well. And again, it doesn't look like Boeing is done just yet. Disney, coming into Disney. Ooh, this is an interesting chart here. I'm actually liking this. So right here, we break two lines. Right here, we break one more. We start down here for whatever reason. I don't like that. I wish we started up here and went up. But, I mean, look, we tried to break the 50 here, couldn't. Try to do it here, couldn't. Try to do it here, couldn't. This is a pretty good attempt at breaking the 50. I think I'm kind of liking it, actually. Most likely, this is going to come up here, right? Because if you look, roughly speaking, between here and here, there's nothing but red, right? So there is a pretty ugly gap down that it is actually getting filled. So I am a little bullish on Disney. Really, I just need this to open positive in the morning, right? 99.50, that's a good line right there. That is. You know what? Let me do two things. Let's go back to Boeing because I'm trying to do this is by no means, financial advice, and I'm not telling you to buy anything, right? But I'll tell you, I want to know in the morning. Let's create an alert a little closer to that line. So 180, let me know if it hits 183. You give me a text and I'll be happy. because Boeing was a must-watch for sure. So Disney, again, I like Disney. If Disney opens like literally just up, penny up, whatever you want to call it, 99.55, that works for me. I'm not even going to edit that. I'd like to know if we hit 99.55 for sure, because again, that's a good gap between there and 104, right? And like I said, it seems like relatively good trading. So we definitely got over the 50 that day, and it looks like pretty much on it. So hopefully we get, and MACD looks all right. It's negative. Most of the other ones are actually starting to get positive, but hey, I am still okay with it. Let's come to the weekly and make some lines. This is a good early one. And then let's take this one. Cool. Obviously, I could take this one too, right? I decided not to. I went with this one because it was just a little bigger and, I mean, not that distance away. So I'm okay with that. Let's see what that looks like here. Yeah, I'll take that. All right, we'll take that. I'm going to move this one up, I'll be honest. I like the top of peaks. So we're going to do that. Cool. Again, I like Disney. I did like Boeing a little more, but yeah, Boeing, Disney, and Meta so far have been the decent ones. I forgot how good Google was, if you really want to know the truth. Walmart. Oh, wow, look at this. Interesting. Walmart. Okay, so a lot happens back here before we're even watching it, right? But again, this just goes to my point. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 colored lines. All we have are 5 colored moving averages, right? So you are in the cluster, and honestly, I wouldn't trade in any of this. Obviously, we know, hindsight, it goes up. But look, you just sit back and watch. Once it breaks and confirms, I'm telling you, there's plenty of time to still make profit, right? You don't need to get in this early because we've seen it where this goes down here as dramatically as this went up, right? So when I say just wait for the break and confirmation, if it's good, there's plenty of profit after, right? That is the point, right? So nonetheless, where are we? Look, we break it, we start going horizontal, and it looked like it wanted to go down. I'll be honest, this just seemed like it did, but look, you need the confirmation before you get scared. And hey, again, different strategies for how to play this, right? Once it kind of started getting horizontal, some people might have gotten out, different ways of playing this, right? But big gap up, we're above the 8. Looks like we were going to lose it, but now it's kind of looking like it wants to bounce off and go up, right? At this point, we are 2 days above the 8, so I mean, I'll take that. Monday opens well, I'll be okay with it. Trading over all 5, that's a good place to be. There are better stocks, but I wouldn't say this one's bad by any means. And look, this is a beautiful weekly, and we're above all the moving averages on the weekly. That is so bullish. It really is. And look, this thing, it's a high RSI. It is. It might want to cool off a little bit, but I mean, look, we're kind of in a safe place, right? It's nothing but red. So, yeah. Interesting little chart here, actually. Like I said, it's by far not the best one, but it's definitely not an ugly one. So, yeah, I'm going to take that line right there. I think that's it, really, from here. Let me see if I zoom out more if there's anything good. No, yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to take from here, because then we have a bunch down there. And then, yeah, I mean, look, at this point, we're either going to go up a little bit. Oh, I got to make one more on top of that one. Because again, you know me, you know I love the top of peaks, right? You gotta get those. Okay, cool. Those are a little tight, but I'm gonna hold this one because it was from the weekly. I'm okay with it. Yeah, overall, not the best, not the worst. And then we're going to the last one, which is MSFT, Microsoft. Okay, look at this. Look where we're at right now, right? Beautiful candle. Doji, and did we get over? Man, it looks like it's only, so this one was 155.14. The green number on top. This is 155.02. Okay, technically didn't get over it, but pretty close. I think I'll be okay with it. Looks like we might be breaking the 100. It's been a while since we've broken the 100 too, right? And look, we actually did break it, got failed by the 20, and then slapped down real hard, right? By the 200, excuse me. So hopefully here we go up. Hey, if we can break the 200, that'll be the easiest thing, right? But if we go up to the 200, I expect to either bounce on the 100 or the 8. We can't lose this 100 on the next one, okay? That's super important. But right now, it does look like we've taken that line, and we want to come up to right here. to 265, right? Again, I know this doesn't look great, but I'm happy that this looks good, and overall 80% of the work is up here again, right? So I'm happy with this little golden cross right there too. I'll take it as well. So give me some good volume. Give me over our 50 moving average, and I think that would be a nice thing to do. So yeah, overall a little mixed bag, but I'll say more positive than negative. And look, even if you don't have money in any of these, the markets will move the same way most of these will, because I mean, how many are here? 5, 9, give or take. These 9 are in either the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, or a mix of the 3. You know what I mean? So these are big, heavy hitters, and if they all do well, so will the markets. If they all do bad, so will the markets, right? So just kind of consider that, even if you don't have money in these. Hey, I hope you're learning. Thank you so much. Have a great one.